Please join me in welcoming President Sian Beilock.
Good morning. Well, I'm never going to top that, so I might as well walk away now. But it's such a pleasure to be here today. Thank you so much for that introduction. And really to celebrate a first for me, my first reunion. And I know that we have people here who are also celebrating their first reunion and their 60th. And how great to see you back on campus. And I'm so excited to meet you, learn from you, and tell you a little bit about what's been happening at the college and what we see for the future, which is very, very bright. It's been a wonderful and whirlwind first year, and I've learned so much about Barnard. I've really been on a listening tour, so to speak. And one of the things that has become so clear is how important the Barnard alumni are to the success of this institution. Whether you're in New York or across the world, our 35,000 alumni really make Barnard so amazing. I'm developing a true appreciation for your passion and your commitment. And I know many of you have contributed your time, your talent, your resources. And I want to thank you for all you've done and all you continue to do for Barnard. It means so much to me, but it means also so much to the students, faculty, and staff who are here. And time again, when I talk to students who are interested in coming to Barnard, they talk about the exceptional alumni as one of the main reasons that they're excited about being at Barnard. And so I look forward to thinking with you about bigger and even better ways to help promote the great things that are going on at Barnard and to ensure that we are really preparing our young women to go out and change the world. Since I took my presidency last July, I have been across the country and the world getting to know Barnard alumni and parents on the West Coast, on the East Coast, talking to the AABC, alumni volunteers at town halls, even a virtual one where we had people online as far away as Egypt. And I had my inauguration at Riverside Church. I know so many of you were there, and I want to thank you for that. It was so spectacular. And just a few weeks ago, we had our commencement at Radio City Music Hall. I'm a little tired, but very happy. Just to tell you a bit about me, you heard a little bit. Before I came to Barnard, I was at the University of Chicago, where I was a faculty member really interested in understanding the brain and body factors that affect performance. Some of my most important work, I would argue, was really showing that there's absolutely no biological reason that young women and girls should perform any different than men in math and science, but there are societal reasons that's the case. And I and my research team have spent time showing how we can lessen some of the environmental factors so that we are promoting the best boys and girls, women and men to succeed in any domain that they're interested in. And I bring some of that to Barnard today. I've always been a cognitive scientist, I would say, maybe from birth. I've always been interested in how people get good at what they do and why we sometimes don't perform well. And I really bring that to Barnard. I wrote a book, after all, called Choke, and I'm very much interested in ensuring that our students not only are learning across different disciplines in the liberal arts, and it's not the liberal arts and sciences, the sciences are part of the liberal arts, that they're learning from arts to humanities to social sciences to math and the natural sciences, but they're also learning the psychological tools to perform at their best, how to advocate for themselves, how to deal with anxiety, what do you do when you fail, how to learn in different environments. And I think that's so important so that we can ensure that our students leave here prepared for careers and jobs that we actually don't even know exist yet. And all before this, I was born and raised in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I spent actually endless hours on the soccer field as an athlete. And it was exciting actually to have at our commencement Abby Wambach, who is the soccer star. And not only is she a soccer star, but she's been an advocate for equal pay. So she led the strike of the women's team to be paid the same as the men, and she's been a really strong advocate for LGBTQ rights. And she delivered such an amazing speech. If you haven't watched it, I urge you to do so. On our website, it's been now read over 400,000 times. It's been touted as the greatest commencement speech of the year in multiple papers, and I have to tell you, it's been read more than Barack Obama's speech. That's been read a lot too, but just as if you wanted a benchmark. So Abby talked about her life on the playing field and really how it informs her post-retirement activism. And I too believe that what I've done in my past translates into what I plan to do at Barnard now. And a lot of my research is about understanding what happens in the brain and the body as we learn and perform, and about giving practical advice from that to help people, young women, girls perform at their best. So we've shown, for example, that just writing down your worries before you go into a high-stress situation can help almost download them from mind so they're less likely to pop up and distract you in the moment. Journaling can be really powerful. And even thinking how your body experiences stress can change how you perform. So if you have sweaty palms and a beating heart and you think, oh no, I'm gonna fail, there's a good chance you will. But if you remind yourself or even others that that beating heart means that you're shunting blood to your brain and you need that blood to think and perform, then your performance improves just by thinking in those ways. And we've also shown that parents and teachers can translate negative attitudes about math and science to young girls, but that they can help too in promoting success in these areas. So instead of just, for example, at night doing bedtime reading with your young kids, we've done work showing that if maybe you do bedtime math instead, fun story problems that have fun math involved in them, young kids perform better throughout school. So little things like this, taking basic science and translating it into tools that we can use, our students can use, parents and teachers can use, has really been the heart of my research program. And our faculty do this too. That's one of the amazing things about our Barnard faculty. They bridge the gap between what they're doing in their basic work and how it affects what's happening in the world. And I thought I'd tell you about a few fantastic faculty that are doing this as we celebrate what's so special. And one aspect that's so special about Barnard is that we have these world-class faculty who are tenured at both Barnard and Columbia and are so devoted to working with our young women. It's so spectacular, and they really have a strong impact on their lives. So one is Paige West, who is the Claire Tao Professor of Anthropology, and she actually just won the Columbia University Book Award. She was the first woman to actually win this award, which is a little depressing, but we will celebrate the fact that she won. And she is an anthropologist who does work looking at how indigenous people in Papua New Guinea understand the environment, how they think about the environment maybe differently than we do here. But she also, in addition to doing basic anthropological work, helps these communities work about thinking about sustaining their environment and how they think about that in really important, positive ways. And so it's a nice example of this bridging. Another example is the chair of our psychology department, Lisa Sun, who's also a cognitive psychologist, and she studies memory and how actually we learn how to learn. And in Lisa's work, she's been very instrumental in helping us understand and develop a new center that will be part of our Milstein Center for Teaching and Learning, devoted to helping our students learn how to learn. So for example, there's work showing that when you take notes on a computer in class, you actually don't remember it as well as when you write it by hand. And the reason for this is when you take notes on the computer, you type so fast you don't think about it when it's going in, and if you don't think about it when it's going into your head, you can't get it out. But when you write by hand, you have to actually make sense of it because it's slower to write by hand and you remember it better. So we're really interested in bringing these theories of learning to our students to help them learn and think differently when they get to our challenging and academically rigorous environment, which it is, and also helping our teachers think about how to innovate, our faculty think about how to innovate in really exciting ways. And Lisa's a great example of crossing this gap. Of course, some of you also may know and have taken classes from Professor of History Mark Carnes. He initiated a program called Reacting to the Past. This was nearly 20 years ago, and this now is used in over 350 colleges and universities across the world. And what Mark does is actually create elaborate games and role plays so that students can understand classic texts by actually being in the text, embodying the text. And what he's shown through his work is that students have confidence and empathy that extends beyond what they're understanding. They learn how to engage in rigorous dialogue from different points of view, which is so important to what a college education really is. And in keeping with our legacy of producing absolutely spectacular writers, we have an amazing first-year writing program that all of our students engage in, where they're really learning how to write and articulate their thoughts. And this is so important across any field or discipline. Our scientists need to know how to write. Our humanists need to know how to write and advocate for themselves. And this is often a skill that is lost in colleges and universities today. And not only do our students take first-year writing, but we have an innovative and unique peer-to-peer fellows or tutoring program called Barnard Writing Fellows that actually are matched with classes. Professors can ask to have a writing fellow, and that student will work with students in the professor's class on their writing throughout the course of the semester. We also now have that for speaking fellows, and I'm pleased to announce this year that our students working with our writing program developed a new initiative, which are science writing fellows. These science writing fellows are paired with intro chemistry classes, for example, and they help the students learn how to write lab reports, learn how to tell the story of the data, learn how to articulate. It's such an important skill, and it's at the heart of what we're providing from a liberal arts education. And of course, adding to the depth of what our students experience on campus, we have an amazing new artist in residency program that was endowed by one of our trustees and alumna, Leah Orzek. It's called the Distinguished Artist in Residence Program, the Orzek Distinguished Artist in Residence Program. And what we do is we bring an artist to campus this year to interact with our students, to talk about her life's work. This year we had Nigerian-born visual artist Toyin Odutola, who had just finished a solo exhibition at the Whitney. And she worked with our students and just in such amazing ways. In every class, in every major, our goal really is to teach our students to question assumptions, to back up assertions with data, to learn how to articulate a viewpoint, especially to people who might not agree with you. And that's really at the heart of what Barnard is. If you had to explain Barnard in 2 words, it comes down to academic excellence. That is what we do here, and we're working very hard to underscore that and push it forward. I'd like to take a few moments to actually tell you about our class of 2022, who, do you want to hear the year they were born in? 2000. And they also underscore the academic excellence that we're bringing to this campus. We just had our most record-breaking applications ever. We had almost 8,000 applications. For 600 spots. They hail from 43 different states, 30 countries. About half come from public schools, and close to 20% are first-generation college, which is so important because it speaks to the ethos of what Barnard is. We are a place from its founding that provides opportunity to young women with ability who might not otherwise have that opportunity, and we continue to do that today. In fact, among elite colleges and universities, Barnard scores towards the top in indexes of social mobility, bringing young women from the bottom of underserved communities and helping them come out and live at a different in a different way and bring their qualities and their values back to all sorts of communities. And I also want to mention that almost half of our incoming class identify as women of color, which is another really fantastic statistic. Again, participation of underrepresented groups is a history since our founding, and it's imperative to have different lived experiences, different viewpoints if you are pushing towards academic excellence, because only by bringing a critical eye to your own assumptions and questioning them can you really push forward and articulate the best views possible. Our scholarship is better, our student experience is better, and I'm so excited to bring that diverse community to Barnard and work with them over the next 4 years. And of course, this is all possible because of our need-blind admissions policy. We are actually one of the few institutions left that does not look at financial means when we're looking to shape our class. That means that we spend a lot of our annual operating budget in helping to support our students who don't have the ability to pay for college in the same way. And we work really hard to ensure that they don't come out with very many loans, or at least as low as possible. On average now, thank you. On average now, our students, about half of our students are on some sort of financial aid, and on average, students who need aids come out in total with about $16,000 of loans. That's it. And that's partly because of your generous support that helps fund and support scholarships. And we're working to make that number even lower. If it were up to us, it would be 0. And that's what we're aiming towards. And of course, another great statistic, 15% of our incoming class have a family connection to Barnard, a grandmother, sister, aunt, or cousin who's a Barnard alumna. And we really love to see those sorts of connections throughout. It's so exciting to tell you a little bit about our class, and I think it's, to sum it up, ability is so much more widespread than opportunity, and what we are trying to do at Barnard is give all these young women with the excitement and ability and motivation to succeed at Barnard that opportunity, and it's a really exciting prospect. And of course, I've talked a little bit about what we're doing in humanities and the arts and our eminence in those areas. We've been known for so many years as eminent in terms of our Pulitzer Prize-winning authors. Margaret Mead was an undergrad in social sciences. I've been reading some of the stories about that lately, very interesting. But it's really important to me that we talk not only about our eminence in arts, humanities, but also in math and the sciences. And it turns out that we are doing such amazing work in these areas, and this has been a tradition that has been there, but we haven't always talked about it. But now we have almost a third of our graduates are graduating in math and science majors. These young women are going off to top med schools. As has been a tradition, we send young women to med school at a rate that's almost 20% higher than co-ed institutions. And our size and our flexibility means that our young women get to work one-on-one with our faculty. We have a summer research program where every student who can find a mentor, we fund them to stay on campus and work for 10 weeks in a laboratory to learn techniques, to learn how to write scientific papers, and we're really interested in extending that to all of our different disciplines. And our curriculum is developing to embrace these ideas. Not only do we ask our students to learn how to be great writers, we ask our students to all think across different ways, to learn how to think digitally, empirically, to think locally, to think globally. It's so important that we are teaching these sorts of critical analysis and writing and digital technological skills so that our students can go out and go to grad school, go to nonprofit, government, industry, wherever they want to make their mark. And our new Milstein Teaching and Learning Center is going to go a long way towards supporting this. I hope you've had a chance to go take a look from the outside, at least. It really is going to be instrumental in supporting Barnard's vision. It really, I think about it as the library of the future, and it's happening now. Libraries often were thought about a place just to go to acquire knowledge, but libraries are a place also to produce knowledge, and that's what we're doing in the Milstein Teaching and Learning Center. We will have centers devoted to making to production and media to movement and dance to empirical reasoning, thinking with data. Also, centers devoted to digital humanities, learning how to think about humanistic inquiry in text in digital ways. And one of my favorite new components of the Milstein Teaching and Learning Center will be our new Computational Sciences Center. We are starting computer science on our side of the street. We just are hiring a new chair in computer science. It's a chair generously funded by one of our alum, and we just got word the other day that we got her. We got the new one. I can't tell you who it is yet, but I'm so excited. What this enables us to do is think flexibly with Columbia about how computational tools can be woven throughout our curriculum, how they are interspersed with writing and thinking from these different perspectives, and I'm so excited for what it can bring. And of course, the fact that we're focused on bringing women up in these fields is so important because we know one of the main predictors of young women wanting to go on in particular areas is seeing women who've been in those areas and succeeded, and I'm proud to say that 60% of our faculty are women, which is really exciting, and this holds across all of our domains, which is really fantastic. And as you know, we're also a part of Columbia University, and I have to say that I know it maybe was not always this way, but the relationship has been really fantastic as I've experienced it. Columbia really values us for what we bring to the table, and as you know, our classes are cross-listed, and last year, for the first time, we had more Columbia students taking classes at Barnard than Barnard students taking classes at Columbia. Now, when I say this to the faculty, they don't clap as much as you guys do. But it's really an exciting, I think, testament to the fantastic work we're doing over here. We're also working with Columbia to think about how we can serve our young women in a really great way when they leave Barnard. So we've been working on several combined programs that we'll announce in the fall, where in 5 years, our students can get a bachelor's at Barnard and then a master's at Columbia. So we have one that's already in progress with SIPA, the School of International Relations. Students apply in their junior year, and then instead of having to do a 2-year master's, it's only 1 year. We are starting, it's very exciting. We're starting one next year with the Mailman School of Public Health. So there'll be an MPH and a bachelor's and an MPH. And one that I'm really proud of is we have a whole new track called Science to Engineering, where in 5 years, our students will go from chemistry to chemical engineering. We have one from econ to engineering. We're looking at one from architecture to materials science. And it's a way to bypass the entire admissions process, some of the blocks. They don't have to take the GRE. And they're so excited across the street because they want our young women, our diverse, exceptional young women. This has been so exciting to work on with them. So we're really excited to roll that out in the fall. And it's also a positive thing for our faculty who work across the street as well as on our side of the street, really hand in hand with some of the departments over there. Perhaps more than ever, I'm also really focused on mental health and wellness. This is something that's so important for our young women. They're often very successful when they come to Barnard, and all of a sudden they're surrounded by other young women who are also very successful. And we're gathering statistics on our counseling center and the kinds of resources they need. We've instituted peer educators in this field, women advisors who work with our students, and we now ensure from orientation on that going to use our counseling services, talking to someone, is just part of an experience of being at college. We don't want young women to wait until they're at the end of their rope. We want them to start developing resiliencies and tools and outlets first, and we supply those free of charge for several visits so they can do that. And finally, we're also focusing on what our students do after Barnard, because that's really important as well. And in the fall, we announced in sort of a soft launch phase, and we'll be really announcing it next fall, a new initiative and office called Beyond Barnard. We took our career services, our pre-grad, pre-health, pre-law, our internships and fellowships, and put them all in one place. And the idea is that from the day our students step on campus, there should be a one-stop shop that they can go to start exploring internships and experiences that complement what they're doing in the classroom, and looking to see the kinds of career paths other individuals have taken so that when they leave, they are ready for that first step. This is so important for students who might be first generation or come from backgrounds where they don't have the connections that other students have. We will be those connections, and we're really excited about this. It's based on the ideology that you don't need one set of skills to go to Wall Street and another set of skills to go do a PhD in sociology. It's all the same skill set. It's the ability to articulate your values, what you can do, to write, to speak clearly, to deal with data. And we want to be sure that students know that their major doesn't dictate where they go. And one of the best ways to do that is to see alumna who've gone from different career paths, to see the art history major who's ended up at Goldman, to see the English major with an econ background who's ended up doing a PhD in sociology, to see those different opportunities in government and nonprofit. Many of our students don't know they even exist, and our goal is to help ensure that they really have that leg up when they are ready to go. So we're really excited about that. We also are doing something really unique with Beyond Barnard, is that it's open to Barnard students for life. So our alumna are welcome to go there if you're thinking about other aspects of what you do. If you want to give advice, have an internship, be a mentor, we would love to have you involved. And we're off to a strong start. Just to tell you about a couple of the programs Beyond Barnard did this spring. They did a career compass program. It was called First Steps for First Years, to get first-year students thinking about the internships and fellowships they might like to take to experience different career paths. We did a roadmap to graduate school for seniors, a fellowship spring break boot camp, and we have done series called Women in Tech, Museums, Government, Organizations, Philanthropy, really designed to help students understand all the options out there. And it really reinforces this idea that what we're teaching are a set of critically important skills that will help our young women succeed wherever they go. And of course, you really are so important to that endeavor, and I want to thank you for that. So before I go, I do want to say again that I hope you do see yourself as part of a larger alumni network. This is so important. Running the college is a team effort, and you are a really important part of that. And I urge you to consider and continue to consider all the ways that you can be involved, whether it's hosting an intern, mentoring a student, serving as an interviewer for students who are interested in coming to Barnard, hosting gatherings. No matter whether it's big or small, we're really interested in all of these opportunities. And of course, please do consider, as I know many of you have, giving a donation to the annual fund. It's not only help in terms of what we do, but it's a testament, really a marker that you believe in what's going on here and you value your Barnard education. Last year, we had almost $15 million raised from our annual fund, and it helped support 350 of our students who are on financial aid, which is so important. And it also helps us cover other things on campus, since tuition is not enough to cover what we do at Barnard. So I look forward to getting to know you better, to learning from you, to listening to you, to telling you about other milestones as we move forward. It's been such an exciting first year, and I can't wait to work with you to take Barnard even to greater and greater heights. So thank you. Ha ha.